Last time, Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra all together sent Ghidorah packing with his two tails tucked between his legs. So what could possibly go wrong after that? Invasion of Astro-Monster, or as it was known in America, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero. This movie is actually pretty awesome. I liked it a lot. Now, I know I said that about the last two movies, but this one is just really good. It's kind of like the success of each movie builds on top of the previous one and kind of expands it even more with the newest one. And that's kind of how it works for this one, sort of not, but I'll give you the pros and cons later on. Let me just go through the storyline real quick. So the year is 1960-something, you know. I mean, it's like the two nations, Japan and America, have united to send their two astronauts to a moon of Jupiter. And called Planet X, or just because they don't know what to call it. And so it's kind of got that futuristic feel about it, which was also a first for a Godzilla movie. It was no longer just staying on Earth and just being confined to the monsters that could possibly be on Earth, but also now expanding out into the universe with possible alien races and others. And that's exactly what they find on Planet X, an alien race. They don't really have much of a name, they're just called Planet X aliens, I guess. But anyway, they get there, they find out that they're friendly, but that they have a major problem called Monster Zero, or King Ghidorah as they call it on Earth. So what they have to do is they have to get rid of him. And to do that, they think that it'd be an awesome idea to borrow Godzilla and Rodan and have them fight King Ghidorah off. In exchange for the two Earth monsters, they will give Earth the cure for cancer. Basically, just a formula, a tape that has a formula on it that supposedly gives away the cure for cancer. So of course, doctors on Earth jump at the chance to do this, and they find Godzilla and Rodan exactly where the X-aliens said that they would be. So, without the Earth's permission, however, they come to Earth and kind of get them out of where they are, and carry them off to Planet X. But then things start not to go so great, because when they put the tape into the player, they hear a message from the X-alien commander who says that Earth is going to be a colony of their slaves, basically, and that they will use King Ghidorah, Godzilla, and Rodan to do that. So they do that, and, well, it's not so great. Meanwhile, the whole time, you got a side plot of this guy trying to get an invention sold to a company. And at first, you're like, well, what does this have to do with anything at all? And it kind of keeps going on, and you're like, what does this have to do with anything at all? But later on, this guy's invention, which is a sort of a, it's called the Lady Protector or something like that. It's a little button that makes a loud noise and tells people that an attacker is coming. Anyway, they used it. He finds out that the X-aliens are actually very sensitive to loud noises, and so if they use loud noises correct enough, especially at such a high pitch, such as his invention, that they will be able to be defeated. And that's exactly what they do with it. They take this noise and they broadcast it to everywhere where all the aliens are. They of course can't do anything about it, so they're just all going nuts and brains boiling inside their head or something, I don't know. But anyway, yes, of course they are defeated in that way. You also have the main two characters, the two astronauts actually, a Japanese guy and Nick Adams. Now if you don't know who Nick Adams is, go Wikipedia him, you've probably seen him in an old movie before. He was an American actor who was used in this Godzilla movie, and he basically, for the Japanese, he was someone dubbed over his voice just like they do over here. And the American version used his actual dialogue. And this was actually a very interesting first for Godzilla movies. Godzilla was no longer just a Japanese monster horror film. It was now becoming a global, worldwide event, in which not only Japanese, but Americans as well could enjoy a monster movie of such epic proportions. So when Toho was able to get Nick Adams to star in their movie, that was a great precedent that was set for later movies. Now, unlike the time when Raymond Burr was used in Godzilla King of the Monsters for America, Nick Adams was actually supposed to be in this movie and wasn't just edited in afterwards. He was actually there with the Japanese actors, going right through the movie just like everyone else. And it's very cool to see that happen, you know. You wonder how they know what they're saying, but, you know, it's cool. And I thought it was pretty neat. So that was definitely a big first for Godzilla movies. The other one being that aliens were in it, and that was also a first for Godzilla movies. And something that would carry on, and a theme that would be quite common throughout later Godzilla films. And whether or not that's a good thing, well, it's up to you, if you like those kind of things. Now, I don't really have a problem with aliens or anything like that, but it's not really my forte, let's say. I am not totally into the whole Godzilla fighting aliens for the good of Earth, you know. I mean, I like Godzilla being a good guy, but aliens, I don't know. I can take them or leave them. And even though that's a very common theme throughout the rest of the Godzilla series, this was the first, and I think it works alright, because it's alright. They're certainly diabolical enough, and they're not too out there or crazy, you know. They're just regular, you know, humanish looking aliens that work on machines, kind of. But I thought it worked alright, and it wasn't such a bad deal, and it didn't get in the way to me any at all. So when the aliens are just about to be defeated, the commander and those inside his spaceship say this weird random thing at the end, that they're going to escape into the future, into the unknown future. So apparently and that is when the spaceship self-destructs, and apparently they're gone. Or are they? I hope to fill in the gaps between Godzilla movies during this Godzilla-thon. I think that's part of it, trying to make the continuity kind of connect. And I think I found out where this follows in. But that is for a much later review, and for now we're just going to say that the X-aliens are gone. Into the future, apparently. We'll see what that has. We'll see what really happens later. But as for now, Earth wins once again, and Ghidorah, Godzilla, and Rodan all fall into the ocean once again, and Ghidorah once again flies away without being killed. And of course, at the end, they're like, "Is Godzilla and Rodan dead?" Okay, when have they ever actually been dead? Okay, they never will be. So Godzilla and Rodan are probably alive, and we'll probably see them in the next movie. But yes, that is Invasion of Astro-Monster. Like I said, I really like this movie, and while the thing about it is that it didn't have nearly as many plot lines and storylines as Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster did. Now, I like that one an awful lot, but it was kind of hard to follow at times because of all the plot lines. This one had a very simple plot line, was able to work in Godzilla and Rodan in their own storyline. The only problem with that, though, is that Godzilla and Rodan weren't really much in this movie. It was basically mostly just the people that this movie was about. And like I said, Nick Adams, he's a cool actor to watch, and so are the other guys. But still, it's a Godzilla movie, and you expect to see Godzilla. And while you do get a few good monster brawls here and there, it's not really much in there, and you kind of have to look a little harder for them. And that may be something that appealed to American audiences, and maybe not, but made this one of the more successful Godzilla movies, and would carry on as a theme later on. But if you're looking for a Godzilla movie that has a lot of Godzilla monster fights, this is probably not the one you're going to want to watch. But while it does have an interesting plot line, it isn't quite Godzilla monster fighting at each other, like Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster was. It does have mostly the same monsters, which is cool to see that they are returning characters. Godzilla, Rodan, Ghidorah, they're all returning characters within the same universe and storyline, which I think is pretty cool, and something that they will be continuing on throughout the next few movies. But I gotta say that this movie was pretty cool. I liked it, and even though it didn't have very many monster fights or anything like that, and you didn't get to see them a whole lot, I still thought it was pretty cool, and I would still recommend this to any Godzilla fan if you haven't seen it, which probably you have, since it's one of the more well-known of the Godzilla movies. But if you haven't, I definitely recommend you do, because it has Godzilla, Rodan, and Ghidorah, and it can't get much better than that. So which one do you like better, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster or Invasion of Astro-Monster? While Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster had more monster shots in it, but it also had more plot lines and was a little bit harder to follow. But Invasion of Astro-Monster did not have as much of the monster shots and fights. But it did have more of a linear plot line, and it was probably easier to follow. So my question to you is, which was your favorite? Do you prefer the monster fights, or do you prefer the more intellectually deep plot lines? Comment below and let everyone know what you think. And until next time, I'm Creature Hunt Guy, this was Invasion of Astro-Monster, and I'll see you later.